What's up, guys, and welcome to today's episode of Fitness Business Secrets. I'm your host, Brad Bedford, and today we're going to be discussing how to get more people to show up for consultations. This is a subject that comes up time and time again when people are using paid strategies to run ads to get new clients, but also when people are doing solid work inside of the DM game, but just can't actually get people to show up to consultation. As we know, if we actually want to try and make a sale and convert someone into our program, we need to have a conversation with them. So getting someone to show up to the consultation is really, really important. And by just doing a couple of really simple things, you can see some really dramatic changes in regards to what you can see in regards to percentage of people actually showing up for consultation. There's a couple of key numbers we really want to look at. We want to somewhat reverse engineer what we're trying to do here. So some numbers I really like to look at, first of all, is the number of sales that we make per week. So how many sales are we actually doing per week currently? From there, how many consultations did we have to have? For us, let's say we got 3 sales, and we had to have 10 consultations to do that. From there, we also want to look at how many people canceled and how many people no-showed. How many people had canceled their consultation? How many people had no-showed their consultation? And from there, how many leads did we actually get to book in for a consultation? So how many people booked in for consultation? And then how many leads did we have to get? So by having these numbers, we can actually see where the drop-off actually happens. So let's say we managed to get 40 leads. We booked in 15 for consultation. Then we had 10 people show up and we closed 2 sales, for example. So now we can start to see where in the process we have some gaps and some areas where we can actually go and improve on. The first thing generally we want to look at is once someone opts into our ad or our offer, how can we increase the likelihood of having that first conversation with them and actually getting them to book in for a consultation? There's a couple of really key things here. And the first one is Speedys King. Once someone opts into our offer online, either through a direct message, through a comment on a post, or if they're on a Facebook paid ad or Instagram ad, they've actually opted in and their details have landed inside of our CRM or onto an Excel spreadsheet. How can we reply to them as quick as possible? The first option is ideally, if we're using paid strategies, can we give them an option to book in for a consultation themselves? Can they have a page they go to throughout the process where once they opt in, they can book in a consultation automatically? The second one is, how fast can we actually call them? How fast can we make contact with our prospect to try and have that initial conversation to get them booked in for a full consultation? So for me, ideally, I want to try and make that phone call within 10 minutes. So there's a couple of ways I actually do that. Now, the first one is I have some automation set up, and there's 2 ways to go about this. If you're on a lower budget, you can use something like Zapier. Now, Zapier is an amazing software where you can get yourself sent a text message as soon as the lead opts into your landing page or into your offer. So let's say Jimmy opts into my offer. I get a text message straight away with his name and phone number. I can give him a call straight away and try and have that initial conversation with him, why it's fresh on his mind. If you're a bit more advanced and you've got a bit more funds available, you can use things like ACR. ACR can automatically dial the number for you. If they pick up, it can connect it with your phone. So there's multiple ways to do this, depending on what options you have. And how much sort of funds and how big an organization you have. But ideally, we want to call them within 10 minutes. Now, if we're unable to get hold of them or for whatever reason we can't get that within the 10 minutes, I like to call my leads at least 3 times per day. Now, for me, I was a dedicated salesperson inside of my business. I had time to call my leads at least 3 times per day, before work, lunchtime, and then after work. Now, I always use a double dial. So I would call them. If they didn't answer, I would hang up. I would then call them straight back. This actually gets past an iPhone system where you can actually turn off numbers that you don't know going to direct voicemail. So it'll get past that. It also shows that people who get called twice by the same number, it tends to mean that it's something urgent. So they're a bit more likely to actually pick up the phone, and you'll see some drastic increases of percentage of pickup rate during that double dial process as well. So the double dial, I'll also send a text message in the morning. Hey, Brad here from XYZ Fitness. Just giving you a quick call in regards to XYZ Challenge. Is there a good time to reach you today? Lunchtime, double dial. At night, I would obviously double dial and I would send them the booking link at night so they could book into my calendar as well. So that's my 3 double dials per day with the text message at morning and night. So what this would do, this would increase my chance of getting that first conversation to actually happen. So from them opting in to actually booking a consultation. Now from there, we've got the consultation booked. How do we reduce the number of no-shows and cancellations so they actually show up? So there's a couple of things we need to do here. The first one is we need to get them sent over a confirmation email and text message as soon as they book this appointment. So as soon as they book this appointment, within 15 minutes, confirmation email, confirmation text. A lot of the software you use for your booking links or your calendars may already have this built in, which is absolutely amazing. People know this is generally an automated message, so you don't need to customize it too much. Just make sure it gets sent out. We then want to make sure that they can only book in up to 72 hours in advance. So we want to reduce the length of time between them booking and them actually showing up. We found the longer that people have to think about it, the more things that can actually come up or change in their life. And people get busy. People just get busy in life and forget about things. So if we can do it within 72 hours, that's good. And I say 72 hours because if they book in on a Saturday, you want them in on a Monday. But ideally, if it's Monday to Friday, 24 to 48 hours is even better. So same day, next day. So from there, they're booked in, they're in, say, that 3-day window. We want to send them a text message reminder 24 hours out and also 2 hours out. So 24 hours out, just as a reminder text message, 2 hours out, a reminder message as well. Now, with this 2 hours out message, I like to send a couple of different things. It could either be a Google link to a map in case they may not know where you are. So it can be like, hey, Jimmy, really excited to chat to you at X time. Here's a link to make it easy to find us, and then just a Google Maps link. All right, nice and easy. You can also send testimonials as well. So sending testimonials throughout this process just shows your prospect what is actually possible and helps to build up that trust that they're going to the right place. They're going to be working with an expert, especially if you're using paid ads. These people may not know too much about you. They've probably done a little bit of looking and researching now that they've actually booked in to have a chat with you, but this will definitely help. And then I am a massive fan of automations. However, I don't think anything beats a personalized text message. So I always send a personalized text message the morning of the appointment. And this is generally the text message where I'll send the testimonial. So that's a manual text message the morning of the appointment. There is something you can do as well. If you give away gift boxes or T-shirts or boxing gloves at your facility, you can also ask them in this message or in one of your automated message what size shirt they may be, what colored gloves they may be after, just so they know they've got something waiting for them when they come in to actually have a conversation with you. Just by doing these things, we've seen a lot of our clients get roughly a 30% increase of people showing up from people opting in as a lead to actually showing up for a consultation. I'm always the guy that's going to tell you that you need to get better at sales and read your sales script and understand the sales process better once you're actually speaking to someone. However, if you speak to 30% more people at consultation without even getting better at sales, you're going to close more people into your program. So just refining this process will actually increase the number of consultations you have, meaning you'll also increase the number of sales without actually having to get better at your sales script. Once someone comes in to actually have that conversation with you in person, we want to do a couple of things. We want to make sure that the consultation area is conducive to actually having a conversation. This is either over the phone or in person. We want to have an area that is quiet enough and private enough to actually have an in-depth conversation where we can understand what someone's been going through and the struggles they've been facing that's got them to where they are today or kept them stuck where they are today. So what I've quite often seen is we go into gyms and there's a consultation area, and right next to it is the area where the clients are waiting for their next session. So it's very unlikely that the prospect is going to open up fully, knowing there's people that they don't even know that are other members sitting right behind them that are going to hear their story essentially, where they may not be ready to open up to that yet. We want to have an area that's conducive to actually being a sales environment. The other thing we found works really well is testimonials on the wall. People like to see that people like them train at your facility and have gotten results, either in your waiting area or inside of your consultation room. Having testimonials on the wall definitely helps build up that authority that you know what you are doing and you can help people like them get results similar to what they're after. From there, this is where we now go into obviously the sales process. So we need to have a sales script. Now we need to have a sales script because a sales script keeps us on track and helps give us a predictable outcome. So having a sales script is going to obviously remind us of the questions we need to ask and the flow we need to cover. But we know by asking the questions in a particular way, we can get a particular outcome at the end of that process. Having a sales script isn't enough. We need to actually practice that sales script. For me, still to this day, I still read my sales script each and every morning before I start work or at the start of my workday. It's one of the first things that I do just to get it fresh in my head. I use it and I read it out loud with the same tonality that I would use it as if I was speaking to someone over the phone. Lots of my sales I still do over the phone or through Zoom, and tonality is really important. So I make sure I do that. I also role play my script. Quite often, Jimmy and I will jump on a Zoom. We'll role play through my script. He'll throw me some objections, throw me some weird and wonderful answers, and I obviously have to keep it on track. But having that role play definitely helps me. And then attend some weekly sales training. Again, still to this day, I attend weekly sales training. Inside our Inner Circle program, we have a Friday sales coaching call where we help all of our clients break down the scripts that they're using, overcome objections, but also role play specific parts of their scripts that they may be struggling with. Or if they're getting certain objections, we know where that may be coming from inside of the script. So we help them dial that in. That is essentially the process we use to make sure, first and foremost, we can get in front of more people once they've opted into our offer, but also how we can make sure that once we actually get them into the facility, we can convert at a really, really high rate. But we really need to understand the numbers. So if we go back to the numbers we spoke about at the very start of this podcast, how many sales did you make per week? How many sales did you make last week? To get those sales, how many consultations did you have to book? Sorry, how many consultations did you have to have? From there, how many cancelled, how many no-showed? How many did you have to book in total? And then how many leads did you need to get? So by knowing these numbers, then you can start to add in parts of the things that we've just spoke about during this podcast, or during this video. And you don't have to add them all in at once. It may just be you're going to add in the automatic text message. It may be that you're going to try and call your leads 3 times a day and get more people booked in. But by adding in one thing at a time and tracking these numbers, you will know and get feedback that it is working or if it's not working. Obviously, if it's working, you can keep it in and make it a part of your system and your process. If it's something that hasn't added dramatic value, you would probably keep it in and then just start layering them on top because they're all going to add up to be massively beneficial to you and your business in the long run. Hopefully you got some value from this podcast and this video. If you do want to catch up more of us, please head over and join our free group, Fitness Business Secrets, completely free. We do 3 live coaching calls per week where you can ask questions for your fitness business and get our expert coaches to help you for free. And also, if you got some value from this episode, please share it with a fitness professional that you think may also get some value.